Welcome everybody. It's a great to see such a great turnout today, and this is very interesting topic and very topical. This is a topic of women in science and technology, and also how we're going to focus on security and many interesting topics today. And I'm very excited that you took time out of your morning, your afternoon or evening, because also this is quite a global group that's joined us today. I just saw quickly in the screen like a lady from Japan and someone I know from many of you from the United States. So just to bear that in mind today too, that we are part of a big group of a global community, mostly women here today, but a few men have also shown up. So this is really great. Just since some of you are really new, I want to share just a few little words about WIN. So WIN is a leading organization in women's leadership, and we are existing to really empower women leaders and women around the world to become leader or find the leadership in themselves, but also to inspire a more feminine way, so we can have a holistic approach to how we are with each other and include all people from all over the world really in a very inclusive way going forward, looking at the world, the workplace, and our very lives. So we are most known for a flagship event, which is the Global WIN Conference, which is a 3-day plus global experience. But also we have this series that are focusing on topics and themes around challenges and opportunities within the corporate and organizational world. And this today is part of that series of meetings that we call the corporate series. And then we also have another series focusing on our own authentic leadership growth. So many things are going on. WIN has been in existence for almost 25 years. And exciting that this is exactly this jubilee year that we are part of. So coming up today, I'm also very proud that we are sponsored by BMS. So this meeting is sponsored by BMS that we will hear a lot more of during our session here today. Many of the speakers are coming from BMS, and I know that many of the participants are here too. The way we're going to run the meeting today is that after we will have a keynote speech, we will have some buzz groups, then we will have a panel discussion and a more buzz groups or learning groups. And then again, a discussion before we go back into our little groups. And I want to talk to you about the little groups, because the little groups are so important, not only for our learning, because we will discuss topics and themes related to what we have just heard, but also we are also connecting to know about each other. Many people told me that during these past 2 years, one of the things they missed the most was the networking. So in these little groups is an optimal chance to network. I also want to say I've seen statistics on what brings women ahead and what brings men ahead. What's the biggest difference? One of the biggest differences is networking, actually. That we don't spend enough time on exactly building connections. And that's what we need to do more of in order to advance our careers. But also it's so interesting for our lives to learn that way through other people and with other people. And here at WIN, we remind each other of staying particularly open, because there are different accents here today, because many come from different countries and different views, different ways. We come from many different industries. It's not only pharma, it's not only life sciences. There are many industries on this call. So let's be extra open and let's be quick to contribute and ready to connect and take some risk, talk about things maybe you don't share normally, but do it here. And then also expect to be light and have fun, and also, of course, never accept any unacceptable behavior. So with that, I am so proud to introduce our keynote speaker here today. And I'm, yeah, are you there, Paul? Yeah, thank you. And that's Dr. Paul Thunderbrock, and he is an expert on leadership and also an adjunct professor of leadership and HR at the University of Lausanne in Switzerland. He has a PhD in history and has a long international career in human resources, and now he works, besides his professorship, also as an executive coach. He's written several books, and one very interesting one on leadership strategies for women, which was actually inspired by 4 queens that he's seen through history. And he has also written another book on the handbook for international career couples. And he himself is part of an international career couple, father of 2, and currently he lives between Geneva and Rome. So Paul, the floor is yours. Looking forward to what you have to share with us today. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Kristin. It's a pleasure to be here this afternoon, at least my afternoon, and in this event organized by WIN and BMS. So what I want to do to kick off this session and give you some things to think about and perhaps to use in your discussion is to first of all remind ourselves of the time of big change we are currently living in. And there are three big changes we face with, and all of them call for innovation, invention, particularly in science and technology. All the three changes happen to start with a C. So we got COVID, we got climate, and we got conflict in Ukraine. And just a few examples, in COVID, we've seen major advancement in vaccine development, but also in the technologies we are using today to in this very meeting, in this very setting, to communicate with each other. With regard to climate, we've seen major advancements in the use of hydrogen as a source of energy. And whatever you may think of the military, but there's no question that Ukraine has been able to defend itself successfully against the Russian invasion, thanks to technological advancements in defense systems. And today, what I want to tell you is or remind you of the importance, the role that women have in science and technology and the leadership of science and technology. We'll also talk about the challenges we face to make that happen, and show you some examples of how to overcome the challenges which are actually working in practice. So please allow me to share a presentation with you. Here we go. So the business case for gender balance. It's similar for all parts of the economy, but there's some specifics in science and technology which are worth thinking about. The business case is about clients, about creativity, and about capability. When it comes to clients as well as patients, it's important to have their diversity represented in R&D, sales, marketing, product, and service development. Just a few examples. The iPhone is still designed to fit well in a man's hand, and doesn't necessarily fit a woman's hand as much. The same thing with regard to the building industry, where there are few women working. Well, that also has to do with the fact that, you know, bricks are designed to fit well in a male mason's hand, but not in a woman's hand. So there are things to do to represent both clients and patients and users better in organizations. When it comes to creativity, we know that diversity leads to better decisions, to complementary leaderships, to more innovation, provided that diverse teams learn how to collaborate well. And then finally, to get the best people, it does not really make sense to access only half, that is the male 50% of the talent pool. You need to access the entire talent pool. What's more, when it comes to science and technology, referring back to the big change I just mentioned, there's a huge demand for talent in science and technology, and to meet that demand and that growth, it's absolutely necessary to create a gender balance to access that female talent as well in science and technology. When it comes to leadership, it's also important that women lead in science and technology, not only participate, but actually lead. Just a few examples. The most striking example, the most striking recent example is really the invention of the first effective vaccine against COVID, done by a gender balanced team. You see here the two founders of BioNTech. And not only was it fast, but it also was done with innovative technology, as you all remember. And thanks to that, lives have been saved, but also the economy has been opened more quickly after the lockdown. This is Anna Carlson, an engineering professional from Norway, and she has discovered through her research that car seats are actually based on a male anatomy, and as a result, when there is a car accident, women are at risk to have more frequently an injury than men. So there is work to be done in that regard. And finally, this is Annette Burles, the CEO of Medela, a company that produces pumps for breast milk, as well as pumps that are used in intensive care units. And she, during COVID, has been able to innovate, lead the innovation of our company to produce equipment that is effectively used for the treatment of COVID patients. Now, it's not that easy to get to a gender balance in science and technology. And there's three strategic challenges that need to be overcome. First of all, there is the entry level. People go to university and entering organizations or entering academic research institutions. And there, the talent pipeline needs to be opened to stimulate more women to choose STEM fields. It's pretty okay in life sciences, but in other fields of science and technology, the balance is not yet there. So where we need to go to is from this type of innovative organization. You see here the founders of Microsoft, to a more gender balanced student populations and a more gender balanced talent entry at the early career stage. When we come to mid-career, we see a leaking talent pipeline. Women disappear, often related to challenges with the combination of family life and careers. Take part-time jobs, sometimes take a career break, or often set up their own medical practice or company. Academic hospitals in Switzerland, for example, have a big challenge to retain women for senior academic positions. The reason for that is that at the moment, organizations to a large extent still offer only one career path, a linear full-time career. And when you get a step off that career, go part-time or take a career break, it's very difficult to get back on again. And that talent then gets lost for science and technology. So we need to find a way to offer additional career path. And at the top level of organizations, there we see that a gender balance still needs to be achieved. That applies to academia, professorships, but also to the top management of organizations. The glass ceiling is a known phenomenon, but there is also something like a glass wall. That means that women who do reach the top are often concentrated in staff or consultancy roles like HR, legal, communications, those kind of field. And you see them less often at the top level in line management or operational roles. And the reason for that is that there is still a tendency to clone leaders along a male model, which is less suitable for women and also less attractive for women. So we need to find a way to enlarge the output of the talent pipeline to more diverse leadership teams. Now, how can we do that? Let's get back to the entry level, active recruitment of young women into STEM. Let me give you two examples of women I know personally well who do this successfully. This is Annette Hammann. We used to be neighbors in Geneva, and Annette now is Chief Information Officer of Beiersdorf, the German cosmetics firm. And Annette is very active, talking everywhere in recruiting young women into IT. Is also an active mentor and stimulates mentoring to make that work. And she shows herself as an example. Well, she's married and has 3 children. Another example is Wei Li. She's Vice President Software Development at ASML, a multinational in the chips industry based out of the Netherlands. And I had the privilege to coach Wei Li through her leadership development. And Wei equally is very active in stimulating young women to choose STEM fields and actually showing them how fun a career in software development can be for a woman. Then at the mid-career level, how to repair the talent pipeline? Well, what I say, we need to move as organizations from childcare to caring for children. What does that mean? Childcare, nurseries, kindergartens, part-time work, it's a great opportunity, and me and my wife have benefited from that as well. However, to be honest, it's based on a mindset of parents have a problem, they are called children, let's deal with that problem so that the parents can work full-time for our organizations. But that doesn't really fit what parents want. And we should offer the opportunity for parents and notably women to care for the children if they want to, without disadvantaging their careers. So what that means is that next to the traditional full-time linear career, organizations and the opportunity to slow down and then speed up again, depending on their professional and life choices, so that they reach the senior levels after that. Then at the top level, how to increase the talent pipeline outflow. For that, we should stop clothing and offer new additional alternative role models. And I have identified 3. One is the parent. That's a leader who does not separate family life or work life, but actually finds an integration by mixing parental and professional responsibilities. The other model is the partner, which means a shared leadership between men and women at the top, so that you also have a gender balanced leadership team. And finally, the powerful, being able to develop your career based on results while remaining authentic. And let you give you some examples. Regarding the parent, the first one is Marissa Meyer, who goes a few years back. She was one of the first female CEOs, Chief Executive Officers of an IT company, in her case, Yahoo. Marissa gave birth while being CEO to twins, and she created a nursery next to her in an office in a way to not separate the 2, but integrating her parenting responsibility with her work. A more recent example, Jacinda Arden, the Prime Minister of New Zealand, who gave birth just before she became Prime Minister. And here you see her at work at the United Nations, having her baby with her. Example of the partner, we've seen her before, Özlem, the one half of the husband and wife team, the gender balance team that gave us the first vaccine against COVID. And Geraldine Matchett, co-CEO, together with a male colleague of DSM, the food multinational, which recently also bought Firmenich in Switzerland. Then 2 examples of powerful, Ursula von der Leyen started out as a medical doctor, then went into politics and is now heading the European Commission. And another one we've seen before, Annette Burles, an engineer by background, made her career through medical devices, long time with Medtronic, now CEO of Medela, and she was recently put on the list of the top 50 CEOs in healthcare. So on this positive note, I would like to end my presentation, and I'll be happy to take any questions or comments you may have.
Oh, great, Paul. Thank you for such insightful information and sharing these facts with us. One of the things that I was thinking about in your last slide is this thing of all these different possibilities. There is no one way, there is not one role model. We can do it in so many different ways. So please share just one thought you have about also career trajectories when it comes also to age, for instance, because there's been one career trajectory for men, and maybe it could look a little bit different from some women or men who wants to spend more time at home with their children. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely, and that's what diversity is about. You know, that these possibilities are there. And with regard to age, it's an important thing. I mean, if you talk about senior careers, leadership careers, what we're talking about here, we have to bear in mind that one does not need to stop at 60 or 65, thanks also to healthcare. For example, people live longer and can be active longer. So there's a longer period of time over which you can distribute your career as well as your personal responsibilities.
Thank you so much, Paul. We are now going to move into our small groups, and some of you will probably be in the group with Paul, so you will have a chance to talk more to him.